Welcome viewers to the first video of this series, Patriot AWOL. I am your host, Alexander T. Roll. A little bit about myself before I begin my series. I started this channel because I'm one of those opinionated assholes, and I like to express my opinion and my idea on certain things, and I find that this is a pretty easy avenue to do so. A little bit about myself. My name is Alex. I was born in 1982, making me 35 years old today. I was born in California in the San Francisco Bay Area. My mother is Native American and Irish, and my father is Hispanic. I've been accused of being, the redneck, racist, Nazi, you name it, living out in bumfuck nowhere. Little do the people know, it's complete opposite. I got politically aware after 9/11. The attacks on the Twin Towers happened, and I started looking into it. I was wondering why these people were attacking us and why they hated us so much. Al-Qaeda, formerly the Mujahideen, we funded to quagmire the Russians while they were in Afghanistan, and they came back to bite us in the ass. Not many people are aware of that. I looked up a lot of conspiracy theories and everything, and as a result, I became a Democrat. I first voted for Al Gore, and I think I was registered as a Democrat as of the last two election cycles. The reason I became a Democrat is, like I said before, I looked into a lot of conspiracy theories revolving around 9/11, and I felt that Bush didn't probably have a complete hand in it, but at the very least, they knew what was coming. The report said so. So whether or not you believe in the 9/11 truth movement, there are a lot of coincidences that we can't doubt happened around that day. So there are still a lot of questions surrounding it, which is really, kindling for a lot of conspiracy theorists. I became a Democrat because, like I said, I thought Bush did it, and I thought he was behind some of it, or at the very least, let it happen. And I marched out there in Sacramento. I marched out there in Berkeley. I marched out in San Francisco against Bush. I was one of those assholes holding up the sign saying "fuck Bush," chanting it loud, and my throat fucking was sore. I met up with a lot of these fucking groups, message boards, and I think it was MySpace at the time. And I fell into their trap. I became a bleeding heart liberal at first, and I think the tide started turning after I started working. I got a job. I still work at that job. It's been about 12 years now since I've been doing it, and people are gonna laugh like, "Oh, you're still working at the same place." I actually have been promoted probably about 4 times now, and instead of doing the menial peon shit, I do the hiring and firing now. I do the promoting at work. So I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but when people try to say you amount to nothing and little do they know of the person you are, it's really laughable. So I kind of find a little bit of entertainment in that. So people naturally do not like me. I am probably one of, I don't want to say the most hated person on Facebook and a lot of these comment sections, but I'm pretty high up there. People have followed me from, article to article. I've said my opinion on a lot of things and like, "Oh, I recognize you," or "I remember you saying this shit before," and da 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 da. But a lot of times when they have an argument, it's really no substance. It's all emotions. They don't have anything to counter your points or any data or any sources or links that you've actually provided, and they will all base their entire contrary opinion on their emotions. They don't like what you said, but they can't deny what you said, and that is, I think, one of the most frustrating things that people find about me. So I had to look into, other ideologies and other parties and stuff, and I think I found a comfortable home within the conservative/libertarian movement. I'm pro First Amendment, even if that is hate speech, because hate speech is covered by the First Amendment. Popular speech doesn't need any protections because it's popular by definition. I'm pro Second Amendment. The firearms aren't meant to just for your home safety, but it is, but it's not just for also hunting. The Second Amendment was put in place to make sure that the people were a check and balance to the government in case it turned tyrannical. And, a lot of the people that are anti-gun or anti-Second Amendment are going to try to say, well, it's of the times. They never had, fully automatic weapons of their age. And they, had they would have specifically said that, the people weren't allowed to have those. Wrong. They did have belt-fed weapons at the time, and they had cannons. A private merchant ship had asked, I want to say it was Alexander Hamilton, if he can purchase cannons so that he can protect himself against pirates. And the answer was, well, of course you can. What do you think the Second Amendment was for? So if people try to say that the founding fathers would have excluded those type of weapons, just remind them that they existed at the time, and had they specifically expressed their having an issue with having the citizens being able to carry those, they would have specifically said so. So I'm also against the government infringing on your Fifth Amendment right. I believe that the Patriot Act was a very bad move. That's what got me into politics to begin with, like I said. So I think, like I said, I found a quiet, soft, humble home within the movement that is for private property rights, for your First Amendment, for your Second Amendment. I watched my taxes go up, from the last 12, 13, well, I've been working over 15, but the last 12 years at the place of employment that I currently am, almost about 50% of my check is taken out for taxes. And that's just California, man. They're about to they've raised the tax on the gas a second time, but the issue is that the money doesn't go directly to the roads, what it specifically they say it's for. It goes into the general fund for any other program or any other department to be able to pull from it. It's big freaking cash cow. And now they're talking about raising the taxes on the bridges, and that's to prevent congestion. San Francisco, San Jose, those are some of the most expensive places to live in the United States. And at the same time, they're bumping minimum wage up, and businesses are leaving. We've seen that happen in Seattle, and I think a couple other places already, that studies have shown that when they raise the minimum wage, companies cut their hours and they cut their employees. That's what they're going to do. Companies are meant to make a profit. You don't want to stifle that. You want to encourage it. So I worked tirelessly, and I eventually became a libertarian / conservative. I'm not a religious conservative, so I do find myself in odd company a lot of times. I think abortion is murder, but I don't like the idea of the government telling somebody that they have to carry to term. So like I said, I don't want to say I'm on the fence on it. I think that abortion should not be illegal, but at the same time, I don't think it's something that should be celebrated. When I see a lot of these women, holding shirts up and signs being proud of having an abortion and celebrating it, there's nothing to celebrate about that. You made a bad decision, and you had to go have a surgical procedure to fix and correct that, instead of you taking the action upon yourself to prevent that from happening. And I'm not just talking about the women, I'm talking about the men too. If you go ahead and you bust a nut inside of somebody, you better be ready to fucking man up. Don't be a fucking coward, be a man. And I just seen, the Democrats over time try to destroy that family structure. They don't want to see a family home. They need people to be dependent upon the state. And I think that dates back to Plato. You get the people dependent on the state by breaking up the family, and then you can have more control of the people. It's kind of basic. Well, that's just the intro video that I have for you guys today. I'm eventually going to start belting out a lot of videos about certain subjects and certain topics that I'm pretty passionate about. And if you agree or disagree, feel free to, leave something in the comments. If you're here to give me a thumbs up, go for it. If you're here to give me a thumbs down, fuck off. And I'm just kidding. Go ahead and do it too. I really don't care. All right. You guys have a good night. God bless.